Hi, everybody. I am so happy to be here. I am super excited to talk about Nearpod and EduProtocols. There are like 7 EduProtocols that I pulled out so that I can share them with you. So I'm super excited. So wrong side. So over here, hi, is my Twitter handle. So if you want to tweet anything out, feel free. Let's go ahead and let's get started. All right. And hopefully everybody has access to the Nearpod. So I'm going to put in, there we go. In the stream, I just dropped the link to get into the Nearpod, and I'm going to mirror that for you too. This will be open. This Nearpod is a self-paced lesson, and it will be open through the end of August. So if anybody kind of wants to go through it and play with it on their own, feel free. You'll probably have to sign in with either Google or Microsoft 360. I just have that setting on there for my students so that they can't put ridiculous names. All right, so let me go ahead, and I am working on one screen today. I'm not used to it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror what you guys should be seeing. All right, and there we go. So hopefully you are seeing this as well. And actually, I'm going to turn myself off. And there you go. So you have the entire screen. It says EduProtocols in Nearpod. Again, it is a self-paced lesson. So you can always go ahead of me. You can, pause. You can do whatever it is you need to do. Again, the link for that is in the stream. And if you wanted to chat or give a shout out, please go ahead and feel free to put that down in the comments here. All right, so looking at this, we have a cute little, I've been dying, oops, that is not what I wanted. I've been dying to use this one just because of the llama, right? Llama. All right, so EduProtocols in Nearpod. So my name is Lisa Nowakowski, and I forgot to put my shameless plug, and my dad will be very upset with me. I am co-author of EduProtocols Math Edition. So some of the examples will be specific to math, but of course, as with anything, you can go ahead and share this out, whether it's ELA or science or social studies or SEL as well. Here is all my contact information. So like I said, I am at Noah Techie on Twitter, and here is my Gmail address. It's really long and complicated, so hopefully you can get into this and write it down if you need to. I'm pretty good about returning emails rather quickly within a 24-hour period. I do have mathreps.com, so if you're not familiar with it, please go check out mathreps.com. And there we have noahtechie.com, which I don't do a whole lot of writing on, but I do have some really great resources on there as well from time to time. So these are the items that we're going to go ahead and cover. And so let's see. We're going to talk about first 8 parts of speech and thin slides, how we can do all of these things within Nearpod. Then we have 3-act math task and math reps. Then we'll look at fast and curious and book snaps. Now, book snaps is not technically in the EduProtocols, John Carippo, that whole thing, but it is an EduProtocol. It was created by Tara Martin. So if you would like more information on that, I highly recommend you look her up, Tara Martin, and she's on Twitter. She's done books on book snaps and how all that works out. So big shout out to Tara. And finally, we're going to look at sketch and tell. All right, let's go ahead and get started on the first one, 8 parts of speech. So 8 parts of speech, if you're not familiar, is just that, looking at the 8 parts of speech. So you take a picture or a GIF or maybe a short little video clip, and you talk about the different 8 parts of speech, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and so forth. And then you have the students write a paragraph. Now that's all fine and dandy, and there are elementary teachers, primary teachers who are like, yeah, no. Like, can we just back it up a bit? So the sample I'm going to show you is how you can take the actual EduProtocol and break it apart into different pages. I personally use Draw It for it. So I just kind of took a template and broke it up, and I put it into a Draw It slide for the students to write on. Now, our students in our district have tablets that are they can write on the screen. So really excited about that. So they find it a lot easier to write on. Within Draw It, you can also type things out as well. So this sample, there we go. So we see we have an image of a woman. So you can see I did it in a Draw It. And we have an image of a woman and an elephant. Why? Because I like elephants. Apparently elephants and llamas are it for me. Koala bears too, but that's besides the point. So it says, put an X next to the words that represent the image. I love this. This was not created by me. I believe this was created by History Sandoval. I can't think of her first name. She created some things for her son when COVID first began in the spring of 2020. So I adapted hers, and she had it. So like, you look at this image like, oh, I don't know. So I can come down here to where all my tools are. Oh, here's a good tip for you. I never understood what this lock was for. That lock locks this toolbar down here on the bottom so that it stays. So if I went up here, see, it kind of goes away and then it kind of jumps back and forth. Personally, that drives me a little banana pants. So I'm going to lock it and it doesn't matter. It stays put. And that's exactly what I personally want. That's my personal opinion, my personal preference, excuse me. So I'm going to take, maybe they don't have purple. Nearpod, you got to get purple. All right, so I'm going to take red. And what was that image? Oh, I don't remember. So I'm going to come up here to this down arrow over here. I'm going to look at that image again. I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I remember. Another thing that we did for our students, that I've done for students, is that I recorded my voice. So if they can't read or they're non-readers yet, they can listen to the directions. I love that aspect of it. Currently, I'm a tech TOSA or a coach within the King City Union School District in King City, California, and that's in South Monterey County. So that's what I do. So I help teachers K through 5 is my specialty. So I just look at this and go, well, it's kind of a funny picture. And yeah, it's kind of happy and it is kind of silly. And I don't think, some kids were like, oh, it's scary. If you think it's scary, that's fine. So you can kind of go through that with your students. All right. And then again, like I said, this is a modified version of all of this. So this is not the full on, 8 parts of speech that you would normally have. So you see here, and I wrote out what a noun is, what an adjective is. So if I lift that up, you see that there's a place for a noun, adjective, and verb. And I remind them a noun is it got very messed up. So this needs to be redone. But, ideally, a verb shows action, a noun, I don't know how this happened, shows a person, place, thing. They can scroll down. An adjective describes a noun. It has size, shape, and color. So that kind of reminds them. And that picture is there again for them. So I'm going to lift that up and you might ask your students, once they get really good at this, you can ask your students for, I'm going to lock that again, for more than one noun. So I did this in a first grade classroom, and we started off with 1, and then we slowly moved to 2 and then 3. So start off small and then have your students do it. So a noun at this point, I would look at and go, oh, I can say woman, I can say elephant, I can say sky, eyes, trunk, nose, smile, because a smile, right, is a noun. So I would just write some of those here. So I'm going to write woman because I know I'm going to have room for that. adjectives. So I tell the kids, describe the woman. What does she look like? Okay, well, is she tall? Is she short? Is she silly? Is she laughing? Oh, she's laughing. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to write laughing. So let's do that. Laughing. There we go. And then finally, we can go back and look at this. There we go. Look at this image and go, what is a verb? Well, maybe the elephant is sniffing or exploring, or who knows what it can be. So have your students come up with those. In the very beginning, as with any EduProtocol, I would do this with my students together. So I'm going to say exploring. And if your students are savvy enough to use the text box, there's a text box down here. So I'm going to switch to the text box because the next thing that I need to do is write a sentence. So I'm going to be all snazzy and I'm going to use the color blue. And I'm going to write a sentence. It's up here. It's kind of crazy. So I'm going to move it down just a little bit. There we go. Kind of move it around to show your students how to do this. They sometimes have difficulty with this, but just do the best that you can. So they have to use these 3 words in their sentence. So I might say, the laughing woman was surprised that the elephant was exploring her face, right? Kind of silly. So I'll move that down so we can see the whole sentence. And now here's the key to all of this. I want I didn't do this. So I need to go back, and I forgot to have my students, and there is a way that you can do this, that they can't move on until they submit. I chose not to do that for you. You're adults. You might not want to do all of these things, and you just want to kind of explore it. But there is a way in Nearpod that you can go ahead and lock it so that the students can't move forward in a self-paced lesson until they do something and click the submit button. So then it takes them to the next one. So now I'm going to submit this page too. That's so that you as the teacher can then have the information in the reports. If they don't submit, we don't see what they did. So remind them of that, or maybe check off that, that feature for yourself. So now here we have nouns. So on a collaborative board, if we're working with nouns, like we've been working with nouns heavily in the beginning of the year, maybe you start working with verbs, you can say, okay, great, here's a picture. What are some nouns in this? And in the beginning, you might want to tell your students, oh, let's do it together. Let's brainstorm. So maybe they'll start brainstorming. Oh, I see a tusk. I see ears. I see a man. I see a shirt. I see a leg. I see a body. I see a head, right? So all of those things they can write down. So you'll have your students write down maybe 3 nouns, and they're going to do the best that they can with spelling. Again, I have done this with first grade. It is totally doable, and I highly recommend it. So I'm going to write ears. They don't put commas, but that's okay. I'm going to put leg, and I'm going to put shirt. And that's just kind of a check for me to make sure that the students, and then we'll post, that the students do understand what a noun is. So that can be kind of like your exit ticket. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Oops, there we go. And all right, so now we're going to look at thin slides. I love doing thin slides on this. It just kind of keeps everything together. I love thin slides on Google Slides or Jamboard. There's so many different ways to do thin slides. So on this particular one, I usually use a collaborative board, and I find it perfect. So just as a reminder, thin slides, you're talking about a topic, or you're learning something, or you've just read an article. The students have to come up with 1 image and 1 word that come up with that. Normally, they're given 3 minutes to do this. I'm giving you 2 minutes because there isn't as much to do. So when you have the 3 minutes on it, the kids are like, oh yeah, and they start, playing around with the different colors and, the fonts and, kind of, zhuzhing and being all bougie with their slides, which is fine, and we love that. But there isn't that capability within the collaborative board in this. So I'm just going to knock down the time to 2 minutes. So your topic is the best pizza topping, right? I didn't even bother to, make it super hard. I thought, oh, let's do a super fun one. So if you could come up with one word or phrase, because sometimes you need, a little bit of a phrase in there, maybe you like the meat lovers, and one image, and then you tell your students, be prepared to explain your choice. So that helps get them ready so they're not just writing anything random. So I'm going to go ahead and type this in. I'm going to type, let's see, what am I going to say? I don't know what my favorite pizza topping is. So I'm going to come up with one that is very controversial just because I actually do like pineapple on my pizza. Crazy, right? I don't know. There's something about it I really like. I grew up in the Detroit area, and Hungry Howie's had the best pineapple pizza. Oh, and they had pepperoncinis too, but you don't put them together because that would just be weird. Pineapple pizza, there it is, right? People are like, what, are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy, but Hungry Howie's, they had the best pineapple pizza. I don't like it with the ham, I just like it with the pineapple. Weird. All right, I'm just gonna take that one, it looks good. I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna select save. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to post this. Boom, and there it is. As a teacher, I can see who's posting what, so I will be able to see. I have the capability as the teacher. Within the teacher mode, I am currently in just the regular mode like you. In the teacher mode, I can see all the people who are doing it, and I can turn off their names as a feature so that nobody else knows what it is. So you have about 10 seconds left at this point. All right, and there is my timer. There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. So this is, I've done this and I don't expect you to do it. I'm surprised it's not on here. I'm not sure why it's not on here. How would you represent 100? So I have done it so that there were examples. I'm not sure why the examples didn't show up with adults of how would you represent 100. So this can also be done because, math reps or math EduProtocols are awesome in my opinion. What would you do? How would you represent 100? I've had an amazing experience. So let's see. So make sure you write facts and include 100. So you might want to say, I don't know, 4 quarters is 100 cents, right? So 4 quarters. And I might want to go ahead and come over here and just do 4 quarters. Let's see if that shows up, if they can give me an image of 4 quarters. Perfect. So it shows me an image of 4 quarters. We all know that's 100 cents, which does represent 100. There was something with like crab legs. They've had just really fascinating different versions of how to represent a number. So it's really interesting to see how the different minds work. And this is a fantastic exercise for something like that. All right, so 3-act math task. What? Yes, 3-act math task. First of all, I love them. I think they're amazing. Secondly, they're so easy to do within Nearpod, right? So they have this great video feature where you can embed questions. It's a lot like Edpuzzle, but it's built into this. So you can kind of keep it all contained. I love Edpuzzle, so like if you use Edpuzzle and it's working for you, you keep doing you. So we're going to go ahead and there really isn't any sound to this. So we're going to watch a video, and you'll notice that there are 3 blue dots, and those blue dots represent a question that the students will need to answer in order to move on forward. So we're going to go ahead and watch the first act. Cheez-Its, who doesn't love Cheez-Its? They're kind of addictive too, and I'm here for it. Oh my goodness. So now it says, how many Cheez-Its will fit inside the rectangle? So now we have to kind of estimate how many Cheez-Its will fit inside. Now, if I'm not sure, or if the students are not sure, I can move this back and I'll be like, hang on a minute, I kind of want to see that again. Okay, so that's where it was. How many can fit in here? That is crazy. So I know it's going to be longer than it is taller. So I can go back over here to my question, and I'm going to estimate, say, I don't know, 144, right? Like a 10 by 12, maybe. I don't know. So I answered it, and then I can go on. I'm going to submit. Sorry. Okay, continue playing. So now it goes on to Act 2. So it makes the kids stop. And as with any, with Act 2, you get a little bit more information. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because we don't need to watch. But with students, you would watch. So here it is, and then she counts how many Cheez-Its are down. So there are 10 down. And you might want to have your students maybe write this information down somewhere. Hopefully they're paying attention. And 15 across, right? And so now they can see that information, and it's going to stop them. And it says, how many Cheez-Its fit inside the rectangle? Well, as an adult, we know it's 150, right? And then we're going to submit. This particular 3-act math task is a third grade one that I found. So Act 3, it just confirms or, changes your answer, what the actual answer was. So it was 150 Cheez-Its. So now I threw in an additional question at the end because I was a kid. I know how kids work. If you were correct, how did you know? If you were not correct, where did you make your mistake? So they're going to have to write this out the best that they can, right? Let's see if you were correct. So I multiplied the height by the width, right? And then you submit. All right, continue playing. I don't think I got it quite at the end. There we go. Oh, and then it starts over again. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next section. So I love doing 3-act math tasks. It can be really scary for teachers and for kids because it seems really overwhelming. But I have done them with first graders, going into their classroom on a regular basis and just working on them and sticking with it does an amazing job. The kids are amazing. So I don't see any questions in the stream right now. So I'm going to go ahead to math reps. Just like the 8 parts of speech, you just kind of break the section into parts, right? So let's look. I'm not going to have you do them. This is just really more of an example. So your teacher will give you a number. You write it in the cloud. Write the word form and expanded form. Is this number odd or even? They can listen to my voice because I read it to them. So they can pick a cloud, they can pick the sun, you can change it, you can put it in the tree, it really doesn't matter. So you're going to have them, write a number. Clearly this is for lower elementary. And so maybe I'll write the number, 27. I know I said cloud and then I just changed it to tree. I'm gonna lock that down there because it drives me banana pants. So now I would have to have them write the word form, and they like doing this. They prefer, from my experience, writing it. They don't necessarily like typing it. They find it a little difficult to manipulate the text box. So I would just have them write 27, and there is a dash in there. Expanded form, 20 plus 7. Is it odd or even? You can have them circle it, or you can have them write it. Now, this is something that not this particular one, but this format sort of on one page is available on mathreps.com. It is by Megan. Megan Cannon-Johan. She created this. I can't take credit for any of it. I just house it. Any of these that you're seeing right now, if you would like access to them, like instead of recreating the wheel, just hit me up and I will send you the Nearpod share link and you can have it for yourself. I have no problem sharing it. I don't really care. So it also says, represent today's number. So we're going to go over here and we see 27. We're going to put that back in the tree. You're going to walk your kids through this. Maybe when you do it together, you would put the number somewhere else as well so that they know exactly where to find the number. Here's a key to what it should look like. So I like to use an X for the ones because if you use a box, it starts getting confusing between the two boxes. So represent 27. So we have 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then Megan had them do money. So this is definitely second grade because they do money in second grade. So 27. So I would just do this with a 25, right? 26 and 27. That's how I would do it on here. There's starting in August, there will be a drag and drop feature. I'm not sure what that would look like and how that would change this up a little bit. So this might change a little bit, in my opinion, depending on what the drag and drop feature looks like come August. So I can't wait to see that. Like this part might be on a separate slide where they're dragging the coins in so that you can see how much money they have. And then submit, because if they don't submit, then it doesn't go to the next page or it doesn't save their stuff. So again, here are the directions. It was recorded, voice recorded for them. So you had the number 27. So today's number is 27. 27. Megan had them writing different numbers here. They can come up with any number. So say 30. So we'll say 1. And then they get to practice doing these things. Fill in the hundreds chart. The 0 shouldn't be there. Just put the 27. I don't know, maybe here. What is that going to look like? 28. This one is going to be 37. There we go, 37. Write an equation. Write two equations that equal 27. So they might be 20 plus 7. They might be 25 plus 2. You would have 27 here, 28, 29, and then they have to count backwards, right? That's kind of hard for them. Oh, by tens, sorry. So I made a mistake. So there was a lovely eraser here. So we'll erase that because I wasn't paying attention. I was busy talking. It is a problem in my life. All right. And I'll go back over here. So if this is 27, this is going to be 37, this is going to be 47, this is going to be 17, and this is going to be 7, right? That's kind of hard stuff for our kiddos. I mean, especially the counting by tens backwards. Woo! And then we're going to remember to submit. This one is a recent one. I did something recently, and I can't remember her name, so I want to give her a shout out. Let's see. Oh, see, now I want it to go away, and it won't go away. I cannot remember. It was original. There is a lot. Oh, Jennifer Emrich, that's her name. Thank you. So Jennifer was in another session with Gold EDU, and it was just about, taking some math reps and recreating them. And so she took this particular one that was a 4th grade one that was created by somebody else. The name is on the bottom. All names go on the bottom. And she just kind of adapted it for 5th grade. So she can have her students do this with her as well. So here's just another format, and everything is on one page on this one. They can probably handle that a little bit better in fifth grade, having it all on one page. Although you will always have those students who write super large and will have some of those dexterity issues. So, just keeping that in mind, you might need to break it apart so that it's a little bit easier for the student, if you have a particular student to, manipulate. I'm not going to go through this. If you have questions on it, feel free to contact me. We are doing amazing on time. There we go. Fast and curious, right? I absolutely love fast and curious. I was talking with some administrators earlier today about fast and curious and how the students were working with them, with math facts and things like that. And just one class, one time, about 5 to 7 minutes, they were first graders practicing subtraction problems. There were students that were doing 60 to 80 problems. Just think about that, 60 to 80 problems. That's amazing. And they beg for more. So Time to Climb is the perfect addition for this. So I do use Time to Climb for this, and then sometimes I add on a little bit to the end as well, depending. So looking at this, as soon as it loads, there we go. So Time to Climb. I'm going to go ahead and pick a character. Doesn't matter what character you pick, there will be a scoreboard. Because this is self-paced, we are competing, but you'll have to come back and see how you did. But it's not that immediate competition that we're used to with a fast and curious. So I'm going to go ahead and press the start button, and it's going to give me questions. I only have 3 questions on it, thank goodness. I made them hard. I don't even know the answers, right? A certain kind of visualization of a differential equation. I don't know. I'm going to go slope field. I don't know. Oh, I guessed properly. Yay! And then here we go with the second one. Plays a huge role in certain derivative formulas. I don't know. I'm going to go chain rule. No, see, it was logarithm, and I almost chose that one too. Oh well. So now I know the next one is going to be chain rule because there's only 3 questions on this one, and now I just gave you the answer, huh? So a formula for finding derivative of composition of functions. Great. So I know it's chain rule. Awesome. Go me. All right. And then, yay, nice work. Okay, awesome. So congratulations. Right now I'm the only one. That is fantastic. I'm going to go on to the next one. So now what I would do with my students as I would review things. Oh, a slope field is a certain kind of visualization of a differential equation. A chain rule is a formula for finding the derivative. So we're getting that immediate feedback with the students, right? And then I give that final one of a logarithm playing a huge role in certain derivative formulas. And then we would play again. And that only happens on the first day. So this is just a first day. If you wanted to continue something like this, you might want to just use the Time to Climb. Oh, I think I didn't do that properly. Oh, well, I always do that. So here's another Time to Climb. I'll go ahead. I know this is a different one. There we go. Yeah, and I forgot to press start last time. That was my problem. So I'm just going to go through just to kind of show you what my partner Tosa and I did. We used this for vocabulary. This was a first grade at the end of the year, and these were vocabulary words, and these were the vocabulary pictures that went along with them. They hadn't seen them, so we gave it to them cold on a Monday. So we showed them this, like, what is curious? So I think it's that one, right? And we kind of went through all of the different ones. And then we went through the words because we have wonders. So again, if you're interested in this, I can share this with you as well. I have absolutely no problem with that. We just kind of like created our own. And then we went through each one of the slides. So we went through each one of the, and I only brought out one, I think, for this one. We just brought out all of the different pictures and the words that went with it. We had the students say them. And then I loved this part of it. We chose one word to have them do a Freyer model. So you got a little bit of a Freyer going on in here too. Like, what is the meaning of this word? They could use either a text box or they could write it out. Give us a picture of something that's this word. So if they wanted to do that, they would click on the picture box, and they might even type device. I don't know. Right? And so, oh, that comes up. Okay, great. So I'm going to pick that picture, and I'm going to click save. And then they actually don't have any problem moving it, and they didn't have too much problem, even in first grade, resizing it. They had to write a sentence, again, either using the pen tool or the text box. And then we gave them a non-example, like a dog is not a device. And we did that because this was the first time that we had walked them through a Freyer model. And we just wanted them to be super clear on what to do in a non-example area. And then at the end, just to kind of solidify those words, so we had the word improve. So we would say, which one is the word improve? I forget which one it is. I think it's this one. I think it's the cheese, because cheese makes everything better, right? So we would have them circle it, and there were 5 different slides with the same exact pictures, but the word changed each time. So that just kind of solidified it. So that was a nice little lesson that we did with our students. And then we did a final time to climb with the students with those vocabulary words to just put that nail in that coffin, right? Like we hammered them over the head this day. But it was a really good lesson, because then they could play the time to climb again throughout the week. They only needed to play it once. They didn't have to do all of those different activities. You could have pulled one of those activities out. Again, this was at the end of the year. So like at the beginning of the year, you might want to space these out a little bit more, but it really does have some great features to it that just go hand in hand with EduProtocols. I am just amazed. Book snap. So we're not going to do anything. We're just going to kind of look at what we created for our students. Again, Book Snaps is by Tara Martin, and I'm going to put that in the chat. So you can go ahead and look her up with Book Snaps. She does a great job. It's brilliant, and I love her work. So what we did with Book Snap, so what a Book Snap is, students read independently, and they take a picture of something in their book that reminds them of something, so they're connecting with the text. We did this with primary students, first through third grade students. So it was a little bit more structured for us because that was what we were needing to do. You can do this with fiction or nonfiction books. And yeah, so you can embed a video to read, or you can read the book out loud. We used Epic last year in order to, because it was virtual. We were virtual most of the year. So to make sure that everybody had access to the book, we were doing it virtually. And even in the classroom, to make sure that everybody could see, because we had to social distance as well, we used Epic and put it on a larger screen so that they could see the story. You can also do it with a read aloud. You can, like I said, have students do it on their own. For more information on Book Snaps, please check out Tara Martin's website. I give them background and then draw it. So let's check it out. So this is one that we did. I did it with nonfiction books. They seemed to really eat them up last year. So ladybugs. so we did a Ladybug's book snap, and I believe this was first or second grade. Can't remember. Again, this was like introducing this to them. So this was an image from the book, Ladybugs Are Bugs That Fly. Ladybugs live in many places. Getting those students to connect, we said, where have you seen ladybugs? What do you know about ladybugs? So they had two things that they had to do. So they could have either written with the pen tool or typed with the text box. Doesn't matter which one they did. And then we had them import images of ladybug, and it was super cute. So many of them I came up with, I guess there's a TV show with a ladybug, had that on there with it. It was super cute, but they were connecting with the text. And so we loved that. Sketch and tell. Oh, y'all, this one is amazing. I love this one. Shout out to John Crippo on this one. I stole this idea from John. Yeah, mad shout out to him. So on this one, I like using the FET activities. Okay, I say it was John, whatever. But I like it too. So like, yeah. So you use a FET activity and then a draw it. So let's see what I did. So this is the last one that we're going to look at today. Takes a minute to load. And this was super cool. So you have your heating element or your cooling element. It doesn't matter. And then you have your water or your olive oil here. And then the brick and the iron. I was playing around with this last night. I was like, oh my God, that's super cool. So like I check these off because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, energy symbols. So you see that we have a little bit of energy symbols, a little ease in there. Love that. Lots of ease in the water. Link heaters. Okay, fine. So that just means that, they all kind of, yeah. So I can put like the water, hey, there we go. Let's put the water there. I can put the iron here. Well, now that's not where I wanted the iron. Wow. Okay, there we go. There we go. And so I can do cool, but look what happens to the energy on this one. So the energy was falling on this one. Now I can also do this, drag over the thermometer. Cool. And they're linked. So like if I do one cold, they both go cold. But now I'm going to like heat it up and check out what happens. So they're pretty even in their energy distribution as they're getting it. But look at how I think this is iron. The metal one here is rising. The heat is rising and the temperature is hot. Look at that. And then the water finally starts to boil. I don't know. I just found it super interesting. So you can kind of play around with this, and I could probably play around with it for a really long time, but you don't want to see me play with things. You probably want to play with it on your own. So then after the students have played a sufficient amount of time on it or explored, we can use the word explored, but I don't see a problem with the word play. Like they play. There's no problem with that. I'm cool with that. Because that's how we learn. Like, yeah, we learn through play. So you can see the little energy keeps going. So once they've done that and they've explored enough, and maybe you do this as an introductory activity. I go to the next slide. And first, sketch what you learned or observed. Second, write what you learned or observed. So here I have it. I built this background. I think it was in Google Draw. And I just kind of quickly did it and then, sketch what you learned so that they would draw right here. And then they would have to type out or write out depending. They can use either the pen tool or the text tool to go ahead and, oh, you know what would be really cool? Sorry, totally off topic, is if you could like put a text box in here, like, hey, Nearpod, think about that. So you can have, so they write right here what they learned. So they first draw it and then they write about it. I think it's super powerful. It's super fun. It's super fantastic. And that is all for you today, friends. So there again is my contact information. stop sharing. There we go. So there's my contact information. I hope this was super helpful for you. EduProtocols are amazing. They can be used in Nearpod. I know Brianna Davis ironically also did the llama presentation. We were giggling last night on Pear Deck as well. So I hope this was helpful. Please go ahead and contact me if you have any questions. I'll put Noah Techie. I'll put that. There we go. In the chat. So if you need to get a hold of me, that's my Twitter handle. I usually answer within 24 hours. And thank you so much.